Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Angel Storm. Thank you so much for joining me today. I want to talk to you about something that is probably the most common obstacle that people need to get over when they are dealing with a narcissist, and that is about changing yourself. I know a lot of people when they come to hire me or they want to have a consult with me and they are speaking to me about what their situation is, they want me to help them understand the strategy of the narcissist, of course, and how to react to the narcissist and how to plan for what the narcissist is going to be doing and things like that. Those are all normal things, and of course they need to be taken into consideration and treated very seriously. But there's something more important that people don't tend to think of as something that needs to happen, which is that they need to change. And let me just give you a quick example of this. Most people, when they come to me, are thinking that there's nothing that they can do differently, that they just need to figure out how to change the narcissist. How do they make the narcissist behavior different? And that's really what they are they're focusing on. And you need to understand that this is part of an overall mentality. The narrative that you tell yourself is just as important as what's actually happening. If you tell yourself this is the worst situation that there could possibly be, and there's no way for me to change the situation that I'm in, there's nothing that I can do different, there's absolutely no hope for my situation unless the narcissist is the one who changes, you need to understand that that is so powerful. Your mind has an extremely powerful ability to hear what you're saying and then continue to make that your reality. So if you're telling yourself constantly that there's nothing you can do to change the situation that you're in, that you're just at the mercy of everybody who's involved in your court case, or you're fully dependent upon the narcissist, and the only way that things will change is if they change, your mind is hearing that, and it's deciding that that's what you're going to get. So nothing's going to change if you don't change yourself. Along with this is usually the constant ruminating over what the narcissist is doing, wondering how to respond to their emails or their text messages or their constant court orders that they could be putting through, the constant litigation, how to deal with all of this. And again, absolutely, these things are important and you need to know how to handle these situations for sure. But how do you think that you will change something on the outside of you if you can't control your own thoughts, if you can't control your own narrative about the situation? And again, the narrative that you are listening to, that you are believing, that you are subscribing to, either determines that you reach your goals or you do self-sabotaging, that you sabotage your goals. So it's extremely important. This isn't something that should be on the back burner. You need to know that this is one area that you are going to have to work at, and if you want a different outcome, you need to start crafting yourself a different story. You need to start telling yourself a different narrative. You need to start believing different things than what you've been speaking over yourself and over your situation this entire time. Change is always about you and not about somebody else. If you want your situation to change, the person who's been operating in that situation is the one that needs to change. You need to change. There needs to be a different version of you to come forward if you want that outside situation to change. And this is true no matter what is going on. If you want to earn more money, the version of you that has been showing up to your job needs to change. You either need to be in a different industry, you need to be putting forth different work ethics, you need to be building different networks. There's things that you need to be doing differently. You need to change. That version of you is only able to earn a certain amount. If you want different friends, you need to start showing up as somebody who's attracting the type of friends that you want to have in your life. You can't be a fair weather friend or I'll have time, when I have time, then I have time to be your friend and it'll just work on my schedule. That's going to be the type of quality of people that you're going to be attracting. You need to understand that the version of you needs to change. You need to show up as somebody different if you want something different to change in your situation with the narcissist. So if you've always shown up as somebody who's afraid of the narcissist, if you've always shown up as somebody who questions every single decision that you're making in terms of how to handle the narcissist and things like that, stop questioning your own judgment. Start being sure and confident in your decision-making process, in your decision-making skills. You need to show up as a different version of yourself. This is how change happens. So you need to imagine who does the person who handles the narcissist correctly and appropriately, how do they look? How do you show up as them? Because that will be the start of seeing the situation change. What's also important to note is that one thing that you change in your life, so let's say you want to make different spending habits. You really want to be the kind of person who has a savings account that they can depend upon, but it just seems like there's never enough money to save, or there's always an emergency that pops up, and so something is always preventing you from being able to save money. You need to change that narrative. You need to start taking control of your finances. The narrative needs to change. You need to start telling yourself, no, I control my finances. These dollars, every single dollar in my bank account, are servants to me. They go out and they do exactly what I ask them to do. They pay for my bills. They buy my groceries. They provide a roof over my head. Whatever it is, you need to start thinking about you are now the commander of your money. You are now the commander of all of those dollars that are working on your behalf. You stop approaching it from a lack mindset, from a poverty mindset. That's a poverty spirit that's telling you there's never going to be enough. There's always going to be lack. You should just get used to it. This is how it's always been. This is how it's always going to be. You're unable to control any of this stuff. You can't make a change here. You have too little. If you had more, you would be able to make a change, but because you have so little, you can't make a change. Stop believing that. Stop repeating that narrative. Start embracing a new narrative and show up as the person who is the commander of all of those dollars. The one who commands all of those dollars to go out and do exactly what you ask them to go do. You have to show up as a different person. So what you're going to find is that when you start to change, it will snowball. Change doesn't happen in a vacuum. So if you start changing and showing up differently in one area of your life, you are going to start to see how quickly this can snowball into other areas of your life. So let's say you have 3 problems in your life. You have 3 main problems. Let's say you don't save money, you want different friends, you don't have quality friends, and you have to deal with the narcissist. Let's say that those are your 3 problems. You have a narcissist to deal with, you want different friends, and you can't save money. Pick the easiest of these things. Pick the easiest one of these that for you. Everybody's going to be different, right? Some people are like, okay, I can start changing my texting and phone calling abilities quicker than I can change my saving habits, right? So whatever is easiest for you. Pick one of those areas and start making a narrative shift immediately on that. This is something that you need to start doing immediately, and you need to be dedicated to it. You need to understand that this isn't going to happen overnight. How long did it take you to craft that narrative that you've been believing right now, the false one, the one that you want changed? How long has it taken you to craft that narrative? Probably years, maybe your entire life, right? And so you need to understand it's going to take some time. So you're going to have to be very dedicated to the new narrative. You need to tell it to yourself every day, several times a day. But watch how quickly when you start to see that you can change, that you can make a difference, that you can change your narrative, and you can start seeing how easy it was to start gaining momentum in that area. When you actually do see that you have, a fully funded savings account, for example, or you do start to make different choices with the friends that you have, and how quickly that will multiply your field of friends and quality friends, the quality of the types of people that are in your life, or the way that you remain calm when speaking with a narcissist, the way that the narcissist does not have any more emotional attachment to you, how quickly this can snowball into other areas because you're showing up as a different person. You need to show up as the person who is able to be the change that you're asking to see in whatever field of your life it is that you want to see a change in. One of the things that a lot of people get hung up on when it comes to making a change is because their old life wants them to stay exactly where they are. Your current life doesn't want you to leave the current life. Leveling up is hard. Changing stuff is hard. But staying the same and not living your full potential is also hard. So you just have to decide when you've had enough at any given time, it can be enough. It can be enough. And you can change and you can have something different. But you are the only one who can decide that. Nobody else can tell you when it's time for you to make a change and that today is the day and you need to move forward. Only you can do that. Only you get to decide that for yourself. And so one of the things that people will face is backlash or the direct opposition to them changing. So a lot of times it'll be like, well, you've never done that before. You've never said this before. You've never had a problem with this before, right? When people start to see that you're trying to make a change, but that's making them uncomfortable because they're doing what they've always been doing. Now you want to have boundaries. Now you want to tell them that, it's not okay to just pop over whenever they want, or it's not okay to talk about these certain things with you anymore, or it's not okay for your time to be managed by other people, whatever your situation may be. Those people aren't going to like that. They've been used to having no boundaries with them. They've been used to you accepting their behavior as it is. So just because you want to change doesn't mean that they want to change. And that's also something that you're going to have to manage. If you want to have that change, you're going to have to understand that this will include overcoming the voices of those around you who do not want you to change. Even close people, even your closest family and friends who you can't understand why they wouldn't want you to have a better life and want you to have a healthier life. But the truth of the matter is that it isn't really about you, it's about them. They don't want to change themselves, and you're highlighting things that they have been doing to either take advantage of you or to keep you in the situation that you're in because it's a benefit to them. And they don't want to have that type of light put onto what they're doing. You need to understand it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them, but nonetheless, it is your decision. It needs to be your commitment to the change if you want to see anything change. So this is something that's very important. You also need to know how to stop toxic rumination. Regardless of what area in your life you're trying to make a change in, toxic rumination is something that everybody is going to struggle with at least once during the changing process. And toxic rumination is when you start to think about a certain situation, a certain person, a certain scenario, whatever it is, you replay it all the time, right? He said that, and then I should have said this. What I should have done was I said it like this, and then he would have said this, and then I could have said this, and then I would have won, or whatever the narrative is, right? The toxic rumination of replaying the constant, repetitive, old narrative in your mind needs to stop. And you need to be able to have complete control over your mind if you ever want to see a change that's lasting in your life. You need to have complete control over your thoughts. The moment you hear a thought that does not support your new narrative, that does not support the new version of yourself, the new one, the one who's showing up to change your current situation, you're showing up as that version now. The moment that you hear that, the moment you hear it, you need to have the tools to shut that down and to start playing the new scenario. You know what? That didn't happen, but it doesn't matter. I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm focusing on myself. I'm moving forward with myself. And here's the new narrative. The new narrative is that I'm going to be happy and content no matter what my outside circumstances are presenting to me. The truth of the matter is that this thing that I'm going through right now is teaching me something that I need in the future. It's teaching me something that I need to get to the next version of myself. And I'm going to show up for the lessons. I'm not taking this test again. I'm going to show up fully every day, ready to learn, fully teachable. I'm ready to make a change. And I see that there's certain patterns and behaviors in my life that are not serving me, and I'm ready to change those now. You need to show up fully ready to replay a new narrative to yourself, and have you are so in control of your thoughts. You have no problem stopping them when they do not serve you. You need to know how to identify toxic rumination, how to stop it, and how to start playing healthy thoughts that support your new life and the changes that you want to make. The truth of the matter is that you can't control the narcissist, you can't control anybody else around you, but you can control you. You can control yourself, and when you can learn to control yourself down to even the thoughts that you have, you will be able to control your life. You will be able to create the type of life that you want to have. The whole thing does not depend upon who does what and who says what, and if somebody hires you and if you get to meet the right people. It doesn't depend on that. You're looking at it from the outside. You're hoping that the outside world will impact your inner world, when it needs to be your inner world will have an impact on your outer world. And that's absolutely true. I'm speaking this from personal experience as well. It's not just that I'm a coach and I teach people to do this every single day. I'm telling you this because I've experienced this my own self. I learned to change who I was showing up as if I wanted a different scenario. If I wanted a different outcome, I can't keep showing up the same way. I'm going to keep getting the same outcome that I've always been getting as that version. I need to increase who I am. I need to level up with who I am. I need to evolve, and I need to show up as that person. And that's absolutely what you need to do, because there's a lot of people who are happy to outsource the reason that their life is the way they are, right? The reason that my life is the way that it is because of the narcissist, my mom, my dad, my siblings, my friends, my lack of earning potential, whatever it is. Okay, let's take any one of those reasons. How can you directly impact that thing? You can't choose who your mom and dad are. That's true. But you can choose how you interact with them, how much you interact with them, the type of boundaries that you set for your family members. That's something you can control. You can control the type of skills that you develop, the kind of skill sets that you increase and continue to perfect, right? Your craft, you can get better at that. And all of this has to do with a change in your mindset first. So I wanted to do this video just very quickly because a lot of people think change is dependent upon time. Well, how long does it take before I'm not trauma bonded to the narcissist? Or how long does it take before I can start seeing a change in the outcome of my case? Or whatever it is. It's not about time. It's about how you use your time. You can have 5 years, let's say, and somebody who's doing the same thing for those 5 years, they're going to be in the same place 5 years from now. Somebody who shows up every single day and is committed to making a small step towards the person that they want to be in 5 years, they're the person who's going to have a significant amount of increase and who's going to be living the type of life that they want. And not only are they going to live the type of life that they want, but they're going to have the interpersonal skills, the personal skills, the mindset, and the know-how on how to maintain and keep that lifestyle. So this is something that is so important that people learn. The narcissist, you are not dependent upon the narcissist. Okay, you need to be in control of your own thoughts, your own inner world first, before you will ever see a change in your outer world. And that's true no matter what situation you're facing. So even if you're trying to make a change in your life, it has nothing to do with the narcissist, you need to show up as a different version. You need to think about, what would the version of you show up as? How would that person be able to handle that situation? And start showing up as that person every single day. You're building the foundation for that stuff to come and land upon. You want to be a good friend? You be a good friend. If you want more money, manage the money you have now. This is the premise of all change. It's recognizing about what habits you're doing now that aren't serving you, and how to show up as a different person who can make different choices and tell yourself that narrative. Your narrative is so powerful. And as I said, at any given time, you can say, today is the day. I've had enough. I've gotten a comment on one of my videos a few weeks ago, and this person had written a comment on one of my videos who said, I thought that this time was the time that I fully went no contact, but I didn't. I contacted the narcissist again. I said, okay, well, today could be the day. She said, well, I thought the last time was the day, and I'm tired of thinking the last time is the last time, And I said, you get to determine when it's the last time. And that's the truth. Okay, so it didn't work the first 3 times that you tried to go no contact, but that doesn't mean that it won't work the 4th. You get to decide that. You get to say, today I've had enough. I know I've said this many times before, and I've told you before, this is no contact, and I mean I'm going no contact, and I'm going to delete this person. I'm going to block this person. I know you've said that before. And just because it didn't work before doesn't mean it's not going to work now. You need to show up as the person who is committed to the words that they are speaking out, to the commitments you are making yourself. You need to value yourself. You need to make those commitments and be honest and loyal to yourself first. A large part of the reason why you're allowing narcissists and other kinds of toxic people into your life is because you haven't honored the obligations that you've made to yourself. You're teaching other people how to treat you. You're saying, I don't treat myself with respect. I don't honor myself. I don't keep my promises to myself. It's okay for you to not keep your promises to me as well. Start changing the way that you show up for yourself, and you will change how people show up for you. So you guys, I hope this video has helped you. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel below and turn on the little bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video to this channel.